What's up, everybody? It is time for my weekly power rankings. Please like and subscribe to this channel to help me grow it. Right now, we're at 353 subscribers, trying to get to 500 by the middle of October, and the goal is to get to 1,000 by January 1st. So please help me reach that goal. I would really appreciate all the support, and let's get into it. Week 2 has completed. I am still in Arizona working right now, so my background is a little bit different. As you can see, I'm in an Airbnb, kind of a little bit more boring of a location, but we're here and we're going to do our power rankings. To start off week number 2's power rankings, we have the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions lost in miserable fashion to the Packers in week 1, and that may be attributed to the fact the Packers look like a really good team, or it could have just been Packers are a good team, Lions were having an off week. They came back and they dismantled the Bears in a very upsetting fashion. It looks like the Lions are back in their form of this explosive offense and a pretty good defense. So Lions sneaking back into the top 10 for now after that game and a 50-point effort against the Bears. Number 9, I teased a little bit last week. It's the Indianapolis Colts. They beat my Broncos, and they appear to actually be legitimate for now. Could they be the Saints of last year, where their first 2 games, they looked like this dynamic team that could go all the way and just beat anybody? It's possible. The Saints fell apart last year. Are the Colts going to do the same? Is Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones of Indianapolis, and he's going to thrive in Indy? It's possible. We'll see as the season goes on, but for now, they're looking really good. Defensively, offensively, all around, they're looking like a much better team than anyone had anticipated, with the exception of my brother, who did say he thought that the Indianapolis Colts were going to be good this year. So shout out to my brother Dan, who called that one. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the 49ers are on this list mainly because they're 2-0, and even with all their injuries, they're still playing really well. They didn't have their starting quarterback. Basically, the only starter they had as far as a significant role player on offense in week 2 was Christian McCaffrey, which is basically the opposite of all the rest of the time. So the injury bug may have hit the Niners. They did go and beat the Saints. The Saints are not one of the better teams, but the fact that they are 2-0, even with all their injuries, when they start getting guys back, they could get even better. And we'll see how Mac Jones will lead the 49ers until Purdy is back, unless it's already announced that he is back. I haven't actually seen that yet, but we shall see. And there's a possibility that the Niners keep winning even with the injuries that they have already sustained. Now, in spot number 7, just ahead of the Niners, I have the LA Rams. Now, the reason the Rams are ahead of the Niners, they're both 2-0, but the Rams don't have quite as much of an injury issue as the 49ers. So I'm going to give them a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt as far as I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they can continue to be a good team. They have really good players. They seem to be playing fairly well. Unfortunately, with my travels, I did not get to watch as much of these games as I normally would get to in a normal week, but based on what I saw, it seems like the LA Rams are looking pretty good, and we kind of had an idea that they might be pretty strong this year anyway. So right now, they're sitting at number 7, also 2-0, and in the NFC West. At spot number 6, I have the Buccaneers. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers eked out a win this week, but the fact that they have a really banged-up offensive line and they're still winning games, Baker Mayfield is kind of running for his life constantly. He's still playing pretty well, all things considered. They made a 2-minute drive comeback to win that game this week, and they looked pretty solid. I think they're going to be a good team. They are in a weaker division, which means that I think they're going to still be able to march down and end up taking that division and definitely make the playoffs. So right now, the Bucs are at number 6. Jumping back up this list is the Baltimore Ravens. They had an amazing week. They didn't even have to lean on Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry did almost nothing, and it was all Lamar Jackson and defense, and they just looked like they had a lot of it put together. They had it put together against the Bills in week 1, and the only reason they fell is they weren't able to close that game out. Well, they closed this game out, and they won convincingly. So they are a very good team. We knew that. Last week was kind of one of those weird games against the Bills where they lost in a crazy fashion. The Bills had this miraculous comeback, and they're both really good teams. So having them back in the top 5 only made sense for me. So welcome back to the top 5, Baltimore Ravens. Standing pat at number 4, you have the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I could have brought them up because they did have a very good game, especially defensively, against the Raiders. However, the Raiders are a very dysfunctional team. The Chargers still look amazing. It's nothing to take away from them. Their opponent was a divisional opponent that they regularly beat fairly easily, it seems like most years. And right now, it seems like the Raiders are having a lot of trouble. So they won. They are definitely atop the AFC West. They are in the top 4. They're the only AFC West team currently on my power rankings. And it pains me to have that as the case, but they are playing the best out of that division, and they deserve to be in number 4. Next up, you have the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills won well this week. They looked good. They're going to stay in the top 3 for now. Maybe they'll jump up. They very narrowly beat the Ravens in week 1. They looked kind of like a mess. They looked much better this week, and I think they're definitely going to be a top contender this year as long as they continue to play this way, and they don't have to be the miraculous comeback team every week. So the Bills, number 3. Number 2, you have the Green Bay Packers. The Packers played very well again this week against the Commanders. They had a decisive victory. Their defense looks very, very good. Their offense is looking good. They have some injuries, nothing extreme. They are going to have some guys coming back as well. The Packers just look like a complete team. I think they could potentially take over the number 1 spot depending on what happens in the coming weeks. But right now, the Packers are definitely looking like that team. The fact that they beat the Lions and then the Lions turn around and beat the Bears 52-21 shows that the Lions were probably not as bad as we thought. The Packers might have been just that good. It does show, though, that while the Bears lost to the Vikings and the Vikings got absolutely trounced by the Falcons, it kind of goes to show that maybe the Lions are just beating up on a bad opponent, which means that week 1, their loss to the Packers doesn't mean quite as much because maybe the Lions aren't back, but they are on the top 10 again, so maybe we'll see. But the Packers are solidly in at number 2, being such a well-rounded team right now and playing the way that they are. And in first place this week continues to be the Philadelphia Eagles. Now the Eagles, they are coming off Super Bowl victory. Doesn't seem to be that much of a Super Bowl hangover. They had some struggles in week 1 against the Cowboys, which is a divisional opponent. And then they turn around and they have to go back up against the Chiefs, the team that they beat in the Super Bowl last year. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs. They're still a good team. They're not on this list. They're currently 0-2. That doesn't mean that they're not going to come out of their funk and maybe win some games here soon. But it still shows that the Eagles are a very good team and they are capable of continuing to win. And as long as they're showing that, they're not really going to be moving from number 1 unless something dramatic happens. So the rankings are as follows. At number 10, I have the Lions. Number 9, the Colts. Number 8, the 49ers. Number 7, the Rams. Number 6, the Bucks. Number 5, the Ravens. Number 4, the Chargers. Number 3, the Bills. Number 2, the Packers. And number 1, the Eagles. And that is my power rankings going into week 3 after week 2 of this season. Unfortunately, for the week 3 games, I will not be able to stream. I will be even more so out of town. As opposed to just being in Arizona, I'm also going on a second trip from here, and I will not be able to bring any of my streaming things with me. So tune in next week for a stream, most likely going to be Thursday night. Till my next stream, please have a great rest of your week and into your weekend. Enjoy football this Sunday. Please like and subscribe. And if you made it this far, you definitely should subscribe. It's really going to help me out, and we're trying to grow this channel. Thank you again for all your support, and I will see you guys next week.